I'd like to call the committee meeting of Land and Facilities to order. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Mr. Lafone?
Here.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
Ms. Fertitta?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Number two, Mr. Gosson Holloway Cortez received a report from Justin Cortez on the St. Charles Elementary School classroom addition. Thank you, sir.
Hello, board members. How y'all doing this evening? I'm going to give a quick report on St. Charles, and then we'll kind of go through the photos for the progress that John got us to look at this evening. We are currently roughly 40% of the contract has been paid out, and 59% of the time on the project has elapsed. The contractor is currently completing the CMU installation. There's very little concrete block left to lay. It's basically done. They've moved on to, mobilized the steel erection crews. They erected the pavilion, which you see here. The steel's been erected, and the roof has been put on it. And they're starting to lay the joists and the decking on the actual classroom building that's out there right now. So hopefully they'll have a roof deck on there soon. We can start getting the building blacked in. And then the contractor is also still working on subsurface drainage on the site where they can. And they're going to begin scheduling waterproofing of the concrete block, along with filling the concrete block with a spray foam insulation, or the insulating foam. And they're also going to be starting to build the masonry mock-up wall, which will be we're going to go out and review it, make sure that all the brick works the way we expect it to be on the job, and that'll be the standard of quality throughout the rest of the project that they have to meet on the building. And we can go through the photos, Ashley. I'll show everybody where everything is. So that's the new pavilion right here, and then go down. You can see they're starting to hang the steel on the concrete block walls, so the roof deck will go on top of that. And there's just a general exterior photo showing the outside of the building where the main entrance is going to be. The parent drop off on the back side of the building. Some door frames have been installed. Electrical has been run in the walls. Well, the conduit, the actual electrical will be pulled a little bit later on down the road. There's just an interior view of the corridor, one of the corridors. The concrete block is up. And that is it. That's the status of the project.
Any questions for Mr. Cortez? Thank you very much, sir. Item B, consider a change order request for St. Charles Elementary School classroom addition project. Chairman.
Yes, the recommended action is to accept the change order request to add 18 days due to adverse weather at the St. Charles Elementary School classroom addition project.
Do I have a motion? Mr. Wright, second, Ms. Fertitta. Any public discussion?
This is
Any board discussion?
this is the freeze days and the below 45 degrees that they couldn't do the masonry work that they're after.
Yeah, we had the contractor submit all of the workup of all the days that were below 40 degrees, where they weren't able to lay the block, and then we also had that whole week of snow that stopped them on the job. So that's how they arrived at that.
I agree. May we vote? I did. Excuse me. What do you can do it now? All in favor say yea. All opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, Charmaine Bruce, Mr. Daniel Bruce.
Good evening, everyone.
First item of business is we received bids on the Lafourche Parish School Board bus fleet facility. Right?
Right, this has to bid. Receive the bid.
Consider bids.
Consider bids, for the Lafourche Parish School District Bus Yard Facility, Mr.
Yeah, so
Booth.
when he's done, you'll get the recommendation.
Go ahead.
So, it was a very successful bid process. We had 10 bidders on this project.
Yeah.
And, the apparent low bidder is under budget. We had an established base bid budget of $3,400,000, and the base bid came in at $3,100,000. We had 3 alternates included in the bid. Alternate one was to expand the bus facility by 2 bays, to give you 4 service bays and a wash bay. Alternate number 2 was to do some parking across the street at the Career Magnet Center, a limestone parking lot. And alternate number 3 was to, instead of a limestone parking lot, add on to do a concrete parking lot. Any other questions? I think Mr. Jeremy has a recommendation for you.
Chairman?
Yes, the recommended, action is to accept the low bid from 4A Contracting Group LLC with a base bid of $3,130,000. Alternate number 1 in the amount of $617,000. Alternate number 2 in the amount of $117,000. And to reject alternate 3 in the amount of $183,000. We'd also look to add design fees in the amount of $291,996.52 for a total project amount of $4,155,996.52 for the Lafourche Parish School District Bus Yard Facility Project.
Move Mr. Titus, second Mr. Wright. Any public comment? Any board comment?
Just a question. What is alternate number 3?
Alternate number 3 was the parking in front of CMC to concrete instead of limestone, right? So it's added on to the limestone, right? You can't take 3 without taking 2. And after discussion with Jared and myself, right, we have other pressing needs.
Yes, ma'am. This was ultimately my recommendation to the board, in terms of, I wanted to see how much it would cost, the difference between limestone and concrete. A $183,000 difference is not something I want to recommend to the board, because we actually have limestone parking lots that our staff members are using today. That would, in my opinion, take precedence over student parking at the Career Magnet Center. One day when we can get all of the faculty parking lots to be concrete, I will bring to you hopefully a recommendation to make all of our student parking concrete. But at that time, today, we are not in that position. So the recommendation is to put the 4 bays instead of 2, which adds the $117,000 to the project.
617.
617.
I'm sorry. Which adds the 617, so you'll have a 4 working bay plus car wash plus yard, and then add the 117 limestone parking lot to get the students off the grass at the Career Magnet Center.
65 parking spots,
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
around
yes.
60, 65.
It's a continuation of the existing drive, and it actually loops them around, so.
So within budget of the original scope of work brought to you by our architect, you actually get a 4-bay facility and a parking lot. So what you're rejecting by rejecting alternate 3 is simply putting cement on what will be the limestone parking lot for students at the Career Magnet Center.
Thank you. I agree with that. Our faculty needs concrete for our students. They're both important.
Anybody else?
Teachers do.
Then let's vote, please.
Voice votes?
We have voice vote, please. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, to receive a report from Daniel Bruce on the Hurricane Ida project. Mr. Bruce.
We'll make this short and sweet. The South Bush High School HVAC project is currently out to bid. We expect it to receive bids on March the 6th for that project. We have a budget of about $6.4 million. So hopefully we'll come to you with good news on the budget on that one as well. And then the second project is the Golden Meadow Lower Elementary School recovering of the roof of the main building and the cafeteria building, and the demolition of all of the accessory structures out there. Contract is about 5 weeks into the project. They're basically working through shop drawing submittals and whatnot. They should be mobilizing pretty soon to start demolishing all of the old wood buildings and modular buildings. We should see them on site pretty soon. Start doing that work.
Any questions
Next
for
week.
Any questions for Mr. Bruce? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 4, report from Gross Flores Positary, Mr. Andy Positary. Item 8, to receive a report from Andy Positary on Hurricane Ida project.
Hey, good evening, everyone. The first project that I'll report on is the Central Lafourche High School, C of Washington, Thibodeau High School combination project. The short answer is that the only work that's left to complete is the repair of the structural steel that's on the roof of Central Lafourche and Thibodeau High, and that is just starting to commence now. And the recover of the roof over the gymnasium at Central Lafourche High School. All of the other work is done. I will say that the contractor, as of July 11th, has been in a liquidated damage situation, and so there's a significant amount of liquidated damages that are accruing and continue to accrue until we get to that substantial completion date. So I'll be working with staff as we get closer to that to formulate a strategy for recouping that, or I should say imposing that provision. So other than that, there is a recommendation for a change order, but I know that's another item. So if there's any questions, I'll take them now on that project.
Any questions? Tita?
Explain liquidated damages.
Yes, ma'am. So in every contract that you enter into with the contractor, it's based on a scope of work, a price, and a time to do the work. If they are late past that day, there's a certain amount, and it depends on the contract value, how many dollars per day that are being charged to the contractor because they're being delayed. The theory is that, let's say, for example, in a new school, if you are delayed from moving into that new school and you have to go rent another facility or incur costs or incur some other sort of financial or other damage, that's an amount that should recoup at least some of that for you. And so all of your contracts include that provision in there, and the dollar per day is based on the amount of the contract itself.
And that's deducted from their contract, from the pay.
It has been in the past, I think, and John's going to correct me if I misspeak, or maybe Pat Amadou is probably better than correct me. But it's my understanding now that we have to pay them for the work that they've done and seek legal means by which to recoup that money. So we're trying to clarify that now, but certainly, and I'll say this too, just real quickly, we have what we call an OAC meeting, owner architect contractor meeting, every 2 weeks. The first item on my agenda every 2 weeks is to review where we are in time. So they are certainly well aware in bold, italics, underline, and red on my agenda where we are and how much they're over on time. Now, for things like valid change orders or valid time extensions, it pushes that date. But where we are today, they had not requested any time. Well, there was a little bit of time on an earlier change order, which was granted. But we keep very close tabs and close accounting on that item.
Great, thank you.
And the school board attorney is well aware of this particular situation.
Item B, to consider a change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs to the 10 various sites project. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, the recommended action is to accept the change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs in the sum of $5,924.78 for additional saw cutting, demo, and concrete removal for new canopy installation at Lockport Elementary School.
Moved by Mr. Wright, second by Mr. Petito. Cortez?
Okay, so this item is, I'm sure many of you are familiar, in the back of Lockport Lower, there is a row of portable buildings connected by sidewalks and stoops. And so when the new covered canopy was put in place in many locations, there was a column that was in the way or landed on some concrete. And so they did have to do some additional saw cutting. That's a fairly expensive process to actually saw cut concrete, and of course the demo and haul off of that concrete. So it was a valid request, and we're recommending acceptance of this.
Any public comment? Any board comment? If not, we'll vote. Did you vote? Yay. Item C, to consider a change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs at Central Lafourche High School and CM Washington Elementary School project.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, the recommendation is to accept the change order request for Hurricane Ida repairs in the sum of $13,818.38 to the contract for additional saw cutting, demo, and removal of concrete required to install new canopy at CM Washington Elementary School project.
Cortez, I assume this is similar to what we just spoke about?
Yes, at CM Washington, there's the long sidewalk that's between the cafeteria and A building. Very long sidewalk. Apparently, there was a very deep grade beam at each end of that sidewalk. That was an unforeseen condition. We couldn't see it at the time, and so similar situation as the previous change or the previous item. Yeah, additional saw cutting to remove all that extra concrete. This just happens to be a much longer span of concrete in this CM Washington example.
Any other comment from the public, from the board? Now we can vote. Yeah, I believe we did, but if not, Mr. Wright moves. Second by Mr. Peter, I apologize. It appears. Motion passes.
I did have one more project that we skipped earlier, Mr. Bond, if it's okay, and it's the 10 various, what we call the 10 various sites project, which was kind of a catch-all project. And so much like the Central Lafourche project, the same contractor, in fact, that project has been substantially completed as of February 4th. We walked through the remaining sites that we hadn't previously walked through. There is, much like the previous Central Lafourche job, a liquidated damage condition here, although the number is much less. But the good news to report is that that project's been substantially completed. And so, again, we'll work with staff to determine the next course of action on the liquidated damage issue. But happy to report that project's at least substantially completed. So we're in kind of a closeout and a punch list period on that job. Just wanted to report that. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Item 5 from Mr. Brandon Cortez. Item 8, to receive a report from Brandon Cortez on the boiler replacement for the Bayou Blue Middle School project. Mr. Cortez.
Robert Utley, I am giving a report for him today. The first report that I need to give you on is on the Bayou Blue Middle School project on the boilers. They have poured the ramp into it. They've opened the wall up on the mechanical building that's behind the school and got most all of their product in to go ahead and do the work. They have not yet received the boilers. They were supposed to have been shipped about 4 days ago, and it takes about a week to get in. They're supposed to get shipped this week. They just got the word back this afternoon. That's from the supplier, and it'll be about a week when they get in. The end date on this project is April 4th, so we don't see any problems with them finishing in time for their contract. Any questions on Bayou Blue Middle?
Okay, thank
And we
you.
have temporary heat until then for what's coming tomorrow.
And item B, to consider bids for Hurricane Ida repairs for the Galliana Elementary School Annex Building Project. Mr. Chairman?
Yes, the recommended action is to accept the low bid from Balut Inc. with a base bid of $229,900. Alternate number one in the amount of $41,500, and to reject alternate two in the amount of $240,300. Also to add design fees in the amount of $31,153 for a total project amount of $302,553 for Hurricane Ida repairs at Galliana Elementary School Annex Building outside renovation project.
Do I have a motion? Mr. Wright, second, Ms. Petito. Any, public comment? Any board discussion?
The third, or the second alternate that I'm asking you to reject was, well, let me go over it. The base was to replace the fresh air units that was damaged. At Galliana, there was a huge fence that crushed pretty much the, outside units. The second one is, it's not Ida, but it's while they're in there doing the work, we're gonna get them to seal off the envelope with foam around the inside, cause it's an older building and it needs to be done while we're in there. The second alternate was to consider replacing all the air conditioning units in the building, right? Again, the number came back, we saw it, we don't think y'all should approve it, right? The building will still be usable. So,
We can vote, please? Yeah, we did. Mr. Wright and Ms. Petito. Motion passes. Thank you, sir. Item 6, the plan is to sign group. Mr. Steven Gary. That's not him either.
My name is Blaise Dufresne. I'm with the Planners Design Group.
Item A is to receive a report on the Central Lafourche High School and Thibodeau High School field house roof project.
Right, so we're currently working on construction documents for this project. We intend to advertise for bid on April 15th. And then we're going to receive bids on May 20th, with the anticipation that we'll be handing a recommendation for approval at the May 28th committee meeting.
the notice to proceed,
Notice to proceed date probably in mid-June.
Right, any questions? Okay. Also to receive a report on the Hurricane Ida projects.
Okay, so this one also, we are working on construction documents. On this project, we intend to advertise for bid on March 11th, and we intend to receive bids on April 10th, with the anticipation of handing a bid recommendation for approval at the April 16th committee meeting, and anticipate a notice to proceed by mid-May on this project.
Any questions? All right. Item C, to consider bids for Hurricane Ida repairs for the Bayou Blue Middle School Gymnasium repair project. Mr. Sherman.
Yes, the recommended action is to accept the low bid from Edwin G. Laffer Roof Metalworks with a base bid of $285,297. Alternate number one in the amount of $7,899, and to add design fees in the amount of $45,698 for a total project amount of $338,894 for Hurricane Ida repairs at Bayou Blue Middle School Gymnasium Repair Project.
I have a motion, Mr. Peters, second, Mr. Wright. And would you explain the alternates, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. The base bid, like we said, is to do the roof and the gym floors. And then the alternate one is to, FEMA was covering to paint it back with just basic gym lines and everything else, right? Just real plain. This is to add the logo and add the other that we have at all the schools. Right.
Any public comment? Any other board member comment? If not, we'll vote, please. Motion passes. Thank you. Any other? That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Time for my buddy Bob Bernard to come on.
You want good news today, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We'll give you good news.
Thank you, Bob.
So good news is I'm going to skip through half of my agenda because they already covered it. So that's good. We're going to jump to item 4 on my agenda. Bayou Bluff Elementary designer is currently working on construction documents, anticipating bid first advertisement sometimes in May. So we're trending in the right direction on that. Little Meadow Middle, several projects happening right now. We just finished up the abatement on the buildings that required it, the ones that we're going to demolish. All that work is complete. The DCO is doing the additional roof work and hurricane work. He started this week. So they're moving along, should be done sometimes by this summer. The new building, the big project, is going to be going out first advertisement, actually bid opening, February 25th. That's the one we delayed, we pushed back. So in 2 weeks, we're going to receive bids for that one. So looking forward to that. It was a mandatory pre-bid conference. We had 4 show up, and all 4 are showing interest. So hopefully we get 4 bids for that. Okay. Jumping down to, and stop me anytime if y'all have any questions.
I have one.
Yep.
It's about the Building 1 roof repairs at Golden Meadow Middle School. I don't see any activity.
Yeah.
I see an expected completion date of April 21st, but I see the same old ice and water shield that's been there for many months and nobody touching that. So
thank you for pulling me back to that one.
sorry, but I don't like not
I do
seeing
have
it.
good news on that.
Okay.
The good news is the ice and water shield is fine.
Mhm.
Okay, it has a 6-month lifespan. The manufacturer went up and looked at it. All good, so we can go right on top of it. The roofer is Coleman Roofing, who is really driving the ship now. They took over from a different roofer, so we had to go through the submittal process again, and that's what they're doing.
Okay.
They should be starting a couple weeks. Once we get approved submittals, they have 2 weeks to get material, and then you'll see some activity.
So at this point, it's just a matter of laying the metal.
Yeah, well, there's a built-up roof they have to do first, the mod bit roof, the flat roof that you really don't see. They do that first, and then they're gonna put the metal roof after that. So, like John and I say, it's creeping, but at least it's going in the right direction, and where before we weren't. So that's the good news.
This is another one in liquidated damage.
Yeah.
That has a process to
Yeah.
follow.
With attorneys involved, but again, they stuck it out to their credit, and it's happening.
So just to be clear, he didn't misspeak. It is a different roofer,
Yes.
same contractor.
Right.
So the general contractor is still the same, the roofer is a sub. So it's a new sub working with the architect to submit shop drawings. The architect kicks it back, they kick it back. So that's the process happening right now.
Okay. All right, number 8 is the press boxes. So really no new development on this one other than we're talking about it every week with FEMA. And they realize the importance. It's a paperwork nightmare is all I can tell you. 30 to 60 days, we hoping to have a final determination from FEMA. I was told I can say that. So it went 2 months. All right, hopefully, fingers crossed. If I'm not here in 2 months, you'll know why. I got sick and I couldn't.
What happens if FEMA says no?
We don't think they're gonna say no, because we've already had discussions with them. We had the architect on the phone with them. They concurred with us in conversation that we were right and that they accepted the dollar amount. We just haven't gotten it in writing yet. So we're not anticipating them to say no.
We don't speak in those terms. We don't speak in those terms.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Keep on going.
Okay. Next one is Chair ROTC. So this one is updated on the schedule, and we'll go to that later, but Daniel Bruce is working on contract documents with anticipation of going out to bid sometimes in late summer with a groundbreaking in October is what we're looking at right now. So this has been in FEMA's court, pretty far along. So we're just waiting again for their final determination, EHB approval, the whole process. But we should have all of that long before we're ready to start sometime in October. All right, number 10 is the HVAC replacement. That's the big HVAC replacement. We're going to be receiving bids on this one March the 6th in a few weeks. The Duplantis already spoke about the multiple locations. This is another project that we have to roll out to catch all the little stragglers. So it's going to be like 20 or 30 sites with just little miscellaneous things happening. So that'll be the final one. And then the other big one will be Bayou Blue Building 500. Lots going on with this one. That's the building that got compromised, we believe, from the hurricane. We had mold infiltration. They had to evacuate the building. So we're working with FEMA right now to make a determination on the on how this will or if it will be funded by FEMA. I think we have a site inspection in 2 weeks with FEMA on this building. Okay? Any questions on any of those? All right, upcoming bids, we won't go over that. You can flip through. Actually, I think there are a few pictures. Yeah, this is the superstructure, the steel structure at Central Lafourche High School. That's some of the beams that replaced, or angle iron, actually is what that is that they replaced. So they're working up there 2 weeks. They should be finished up, and then we can do the final roof cap once that steel work is finished. Okay, and then the last page, you can go to that. Again, we're not going to go over this, but everything you see in gray is work complete. Purple is work remaining. That's all the projects that are under construction. Anything in blue is yet to be bid, right? So that will change to purple once it gets bid, and then we'll start tracking it. And that's the rest of your hurricane projects.
Thank you, Mr. Bernard. Any questions for Mr. Bernard? Okay. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you. Move into new business, and in item 8, to receive a report from lead accountant Shasta Chasson in reference to ongoing project budgets.
Good evening. The 2017 bond has a total referendum of $19.7 million with the same total budget. The actual spent to date with encumbrances total $17.9 million, and all funds are obligated. The 2021 bond has a total referendum of $52 million with a total budget of $52 million. Actual spent to date with encumbrances total $41.3 million. All funds are obligated.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Shasta? All right. Item B, to consider a request to hire Duplantis Design Group for the Central Lafourche High School Auxiliary Gym Repair Project. Mr. Sheremy.
Yes, sir. We're requesting you accept the request to hire Duplantis Design Group, PG, for the Central Lafourche High School Auxiliary Gym Repair Project with the OPC we developed of $553,444. The details of it? Breakdown. This is the auxiliary gym on the side. There is something that's happened over the years along the wall that the floor is rotted in there. So this is to determine what's going on. This number is worst case, right? This is replacing the roof, you know, going all out. So this OPC hopefully never sees reality, but we want to be prepared in case we do, right? Not doing anything is not an option. We have to do something.
Tina?
And it's not a FEMA
It's
project.
not a FEMA, no matter.
It's construction.
Moved by Mr. Peters, second by Mr. Wright. Any public comment? Any board comment? Let's vote, please. Motion passes. I believe that's the last item on our agenda. With that, committee meeting is adjourned.